What's up, Raz Manites and movie buffs? Welcome to another round of the Cigarette Burns film reviews. This round's film, of course, is the Jean-Pierre Jeunet film, Amelie. Now, before I start this review, I want to say something that I feel is very, very important to say when I'm going first on a film. And this is only the second time that I've gone first. The last time I went first was way back on Stuart Gordon's Reanimator, which was our second film. But when I go first, I want to iterate to all of you out there watching that I'm the type of reviewer that doesn't feel like you can accurately review a film without talking about its plot and the things about the film that make it good. Scenes, direction, cinematography, etc., etc., etc. So, if you have not seen Amelie, you need to be very, very cautious in choosing to watch this review. But hopefully, the spoilers that I do give aren't enough to keep you from wanting to watch the film if you watch this review and then are inspired to go and see the film. So, with that being said, let us talk about Amelie, shall we? The plot line of Amelie is as follows. A girl named Amelie is born into a family that is very, very eccentric, which in turn causes her to be very, very eccentric. From the moment she's born, she deals with a father who is a doctor, who does not know how to show affection. So he barely touches his daughter. And at the times that he touches his daughter, which is once a month during her monthly checkups, her daughter gets excited because, she's a little young girl. And like every young girl, she wants to be touched by her daddy. If memory serves, that's actually the line that they use in the opening monologue of the film. That little girls love to be touched by their daddy. Her father, though, misinterprets that as her having a heart condition. So she becomes very sheltered in life, and just subsequently everything about her life and everyone around her has been sort of affected by her seclusion. Her mother dies at a very young age, very early on in her life, when a woman jumps off a church steeple to commit suicide and kills her mother in the process from falling on top of her. Her father then becomes very secluded and becomes obsessed with building a shrine to his wife, just doesn't know what to do with himself basically at that point. So Amelie is forced to regress into her own imagination in order to coincide with life, which, as I stated earlier, makes her very sheltered and not really willing to put herself out there. So the first half or act of this film, you see Amelie struggling with that, struggling with being a recluse. She becomes focused on things that others are doing and the enjoyment of others rather than trying to live her own life. But then something happens that changes her life forever. She is watching television on the night that Princess Diana is killed, and she is in the bathroom brushing her teeth as the announcement happens, or just leaving the bathroom rather, and she is so shocked by it that she sort of does a backwards walk into her bathroom, and she knocks a piece of her wall loose. And inside the wall is a box that was left by a child who lived in her apartment or her flat, depending on what region of the world you live in. It was left there by a child almost 50 years ago. So she decides that her mission in life now will be to find this man who was a boy then and return his lost treasure. And that becomes the theme of this film. She finds the little boy, and it gives her such a good and satisfying feeling that she then goes out and makes it her mission to make everyone's life better. She helps her father realize that he has always wanted to travel. She helps a recluse painter old man realize that he has missed out on life because life is just sort of passing him by from lack of human contact and lack of focusing on anything other than painting, really. She helps two people fall in love that frequent the restaurant where she works at. All these things are happening. Well, in the course of her trying to help a man who drops a photo album of his, she begins to fall in love with this man because she realizes that this man has the same interest that she does. So, while the first half of the film focuses on her recluse, and the second half focuses on her trying to help make other people's lives better, the third act, or the third arch of the film, follows her trying to make other people's life better, but also trying to convince herself to go after this guy and pursue love for her own self. So that is the plot in a nutshell. The thing that I love about this film is just how much it makes you feel good when you watch it. I was having a really, really crappy day yesterday as I sat down to watch this film, in the morning anyway. And by the time I was halfway through the film, I had a Skype conversation with our own Civilian Snowman and DVD Weasel before the film was even finished. And even then I was telling them how good it made me feel. And there are scenes in this film that just jump right out at you, such as her helping a blind man cross the street. And then, as I said, she helps so many people around her. I'm not going to give away the ending of this film because I feel like it would be too much of a spoiler. But this film really illustrates just how perfect one's life can be if you devote it to being a good person. And scenes like her helping a blind man cross the street, or helping the two people fall in love, it just leaves you with a good feeling and knowing that no matter how messed up you think your life is, doesn't mean that you can't turn it around. The cinematography and the direction are just brilliant in this film. They use the beautiful scenery and beautiful camera work, and the direction, the way that the director chose to tell this story, which I won't spoil because you need to see the film, but the way the director chose to tell the story is very, very brilliant, and he uses monologues all throughout the film, and it never feels like it's oversaturated or overdone. So overall, I give Amelie 5 stars across the board. This is one that I'm very grateful that Jack brought forth and that we all agreed on doing, the cigarette burns, because it's one that I will know that I was very lucky to have seen. So I cannot recommend it enough. I will see you guys in 2 rounds, as I'm taking the next round off, as I was the one to kick off the Cigarette Burns Expand Your Horizons Challenge. If you don't know about that, simply head to my last video from 2 days ago now. If this film got uploaded on time, if not 3 days ago, but it's the last video that you saw on this channel, so go and check out what that is if you don't know about it. And I hope you all enjoyed this review. And I'll see you next time for another round of the Cigarette Burns Film Reviews.